The city of Los Angeles was always busy. But tonight, it felt even more awake, filled with people running after their dreams or trying to forget their mistakes. Keanu Reeves walked quietly through the downtown streets. He wore a plain black jacket and jeans, and his old baseball cap was pulled low to cover his face. He didn't want people to notice him. He liked being part of the crowd, just another person walking in the big, loud city. He had just left a quiet event where people talked about helping others with their feelings and mental health. It was important, but it made him feel tired inside. Keanu liked doing things more than getting claps. He liked helping instead of talking too much. Now he just wanted to be alone and think, so he walked without a plan, just letting his feet take him anywhere. That's when he saw her. She was sitting under the small roof of an old, closed bookstore. She held a big, worn-out bag and wore lots of clothes to keep warm. The air was getting colder as the night came. There was something about how she sat, straight but tired, like she was there but also trying to disappear, that made Keanu stop. He felt like he knew her. He walked closer, slowly, not wanting to scare her. Her head was down, gray hairs poking out from under her old hood. He couldn't see her full face, but something about the way she looked, the shape of her face, felt very familiar. His heart beat faster. It couldn't be, could it? He whispered to himself. He took another step. Her face was partly hidden in the dim light, but now he could see enough. "Clara," he said, his voice soft but sure. The woman froze when she heard the name. She slowly looked up, tired and scared. Her eyes, once full of brightness and smarts, met his. They didn't say anything at first. The busy city noises disappeared for a moment. It was just them. She looked at him with tired eyes and then looked away, trying to hide. "Mr. Reeves," she whispered, her voice dry and weak. Keanu's heart hurt. This woman was Clara Hathaway, once his smart and trusted helper. She used to keep his life in order when everything was crazy. And now, she was sitting on the street like a stranger. He slowly bent down to her level, moving gently so she wouldn't feel scared. "Please," he said kindly. "Just Keanu." Clara shook her head and gave a small, sad smile. "I didn't think you'd remember me," she said in a rough voice. "I could never forget you," Keanu said. And he meant every word. They sat in silence for a little while. Old friends who hadn't seen each other in many years. Keanu looked at her more closely. Her gloves were torn. There were bruises on her face. She looked like someone trying very hard to stay strong. "What happened, Clara?" he asked, even though he was afraid to hear it. She gave a soft laugh that didn't sound happy. "Life happened," she said. "My mom got sick. I left my job to take care of her. I used up all my money. When she passed away," she shrugged, "I couldn't get back into the business. I was too old, too many people wanting jobs, and no one wanted what I could do." Keanu felt angry. Not at her, but at the world. At how it forgets good people once it doesn't need them anymore. "You should have called me," he said quickly, before thinking. Clara smiled a little again, sad and tired. "Pride," she said. "I didn't want to be a burden. I didn't think you'd even remember me." Keanu's eyes stung. How could she think that? She had helped him so much, not in big ways, but in small, kind ones that mattered most. He made up his mind right then. Not out of pity, but because he was thankful. No one who gave so much should ever be left behind. "Come on," he said, standing up and reaching out his hand. "Let's get you somewhere warm." Clara looked scared and unsure. She was used to being alone, used to being invisible. She didn't trust people easily anymore. But something in Keanu's voice felt safe, real. Slowly, she took his hand, and he helped her stand up. They walked through the city together, a famous movie star and a woman forgotten by many. but they were connected by kindness and shared memories. Keanu brought her to a small hotel he liked, where people didn't ask too many questions. He kept her hidden from others, giving her space to feel safe. He got her a beautiful hotel suite, not just a room. She sat on the soft bed, not sure what to do. It felt too big, too nice. Keanu knelt beside her. "This isn't charity," he said gently. "This is thank you for all the things you did for me when I needed help." Clara's eyes filled with tears, but she blinked them away. "Thank you," she whispered. "You don't have to thank me," Keanu said. "Just let me help." And that was the beginning of something new, a new chapter for both of them. A chance not just to save someone, but to help her believe in herself again. The hotel room felt too big at first. Clara sat at the little desk by the window, holding her hands tightly, looking at the city lights outside. She hadn't slept in a real bed in a long time. Her body was used to hard ground and loud noises at night. The warm water, clean bed, and quiet room all felt too good to be real. She was scared it might all disappear. But Keanu stayed. He didn't push her. He understood that she was hurt in ways you couldn't see. Every morning, he left a note under her door. It said something simple like, "Breakfast downstairs if you feel up to it." In the afternoons, he sometimes waited outside with 2 cups of coffee and a newspaper. They talked about books, music, and old memories. Clara still felt unsure, like she didn't deserve any of this. But slowly, she started to change. It began with little things. Taking a real shower. Sitting down to eat breakfast without hurrying. Looking at Keanu without feeling shame. These were small wins, little steps toward feeling okay again. One afternoon, she sat with Keanu on the hotel balcony, drinking hot tea. They talked about the past, when she first worked for him and felt strong and confident. "You know," she said, "I used to think if you worked hard and stayed loyal, the world would take care of you." Keanu listened quietly. "I thought being good at my job was enough," she said. "But I didn't know how easy it was to be forgotten once people didn't need you anymore." Keanu leaned forward. "You weren't just useful," he said. "You were important. You still are." Her eyes filled with tears again. She didn't realize how much she needed to hear those words, real words that said she mattered. Soon, Keanu started gently opening doors for her. He didn't push. He just gave her chances. He introduced her to a friend who helped women find jobs again. He found a kind doctor, Dr. Patel, to help Clara talk about her pain. And he reminded her of her superpower, being organized. "You're the most organized person I've ever known," Keanu told her. "You helped me when everything felt crazy. Maybe now you can help others." At first, Clara said no. She was scared. But one cool morning, she said yes. She went to a community center to help others with their paperwork for housing and jobs. The first day, she almost turned around and left. She felt like she had nothing to offer. But then she thought of Keanu and how he believed in her. She took a deep breath and walked inside. It was hard at first. She was nervous. But little by little, she got better. She helped a young mom find a place to live. She helped an older man get his veteran benefits. She helped people who didn't speak English, but who had hopes and dreams just like hers. Clara was becoming whole again, not the same as before, but stronger, kinder, and full of quiet power. One evening, after a long day of helping others, she sat once again with Keanu on the hotel balcony, at the same table they always used. She looked at him, this kind man who didn't let her give up. He didn't feel sorry for her. He wanted to help her stand tall. She felt something big in her heart, too big to say out loud. "I'm not ready yet," she said softly. "But I'm getting there." Keanu smiled. It was the kind of smile that made you feel good inside, like the world could be king again. You don't have to be ready, he said. You just have to keep going. So she did. Even when it was hard. Even when she didn't feel brave. She kept going. One step, one breath, one little brave moment at a time. She didn't know what her future would look like. She didn't know if she could ever truly leave her past behind. But for the first time in a long time, she believed that she had a future. And that small belief, soft and new, was the start of something big and wonderful. Days turned into weeks, and those weeks started to feel like hope. Clara, who once felt lost in the big city of Los Angeles, now woke up each morning with a plan. She was helping people at the community center where she worked for free. She got better at it every day, helping people fill out papers, solving small problems, and cheering them on. Her smile, once tiny and scared, was now warm and true. But she still remembered the hard times. Healing, she learned, doesn't happen in a straight line. It goes forward and backward. Some days are good, and some are not. The community center was a safe place, but sometimes it felt hard too. The people she helped were hurting. They had sad stories about losing homes, being hurt, feeling alone. Some days, it made Clara feel tired and heavy inside. One afternoon, something scary happened. Clara was helping a woman named Linda who had lost her job and her home. They were going over papers when the front door slammed open. A man came in, looking messy and very angry. He was yelling about things that had gone wrong. Everyone else in the room looked scared. Clara felt her heart pounding. She remembered times when she had seen this kind of anger before. In shelters, in dark alleys, when she was just trying to survive. Fear started to rise inside her. But then she remembered Keanu's voice. You just have to keep going. She took a deep breath. She stood up slowly, showing her hands to the man so he wouldn't feel threatened. I know you're upset, she said calmly. Let's sit down and talk about it. We'll find a way together. For a moment, it looked like the man might yell again. But something about Clara's calm voice made him stop. He sat down. His voice cracked. He let Clara help him. For the next hour, she listened as he shared his story. He had been through a lot, and it had made him feel lost and angry. When he left, he was calmer. He had real help now. The other people in the room clapped quietly. Clara sat back down, shaking a little, not from fear, but because her body was full of energy. She had faced the storm. And she had won. That night, she ate warm ramen noodles with Keanu at a small place in Koreatown. She laughed, a real, happy laugh that she hadn't felt in years. I thought I was going to faint, she said with a smile. But you didn't, Keanu replied, his eyes kind. You didn't just survive. You led. You were strong, even when you were scared. Clara looked at him, not as a famous actor, not even as the friend who helped her when she was lost, but as someone who really understood what courage meant. Thank you, she said. Thank you for believing in me when I forgot how to. Keanu shook his head. I didn't believe you, he said. You already had it inside. You just needed someone to remind you. The next day, something surprising happened. The woman in charge of the community center, Maria, pulled Clara aside. Have you ever thought about working here full-time? She asked. We'll pay you. Program coordinator. You're good at this. We need you. Clara felt her heart jump. A real job? A chance to really come back to life? But she was also scared. What if she failed again? What if she couldn't handle it? That night, she sat outside, looking at the stars. They were bright but far away, like the world didn't always care. Keanu came and sat beside her. He didn't say anything. He just sat there, being a friend. After a long silence, Clara said, What if I'm not ready? No one's ever ready, Keanu said quietly. Not for the big things. Not for the things that change you. You weren't ready when you walked into the center. You weren't ready when you helped that angry man. You weren't ready when you chose to live again. But you did it anyway. Clara closed her eyes. His words felt true deep inside. You're not ready, Keanu said again. You're willing. And that's enough. The next morning, Clara said yes to the job. Her first day was busy. There were meetings, phone calls, and problems to solve. But she felt strong. She made mistakes sometimes. She got nervous. But she kept going. She was building a new life, not on who she used to be, but on the strength of who she was now. She knew none of this would have happened without Keanu. He hadn't saved her. He helped her remember that she was worth saving. That was the real gift. By winter, when the air in Los Angeles got chilly, Clara had become a rock at the community center. She helped hold everyone up. The woman who once felt invisible was now a leader. She ran programs with care and smarts. She helped young people, people without jobs, people who felt forgotten. The building that once felt sad now had bright colors on the walls, painted by artists. It told stories of hope. But even good things can be hard. As more people heard about her, they wanted interviews. Old friends reached out. Some really cared. Others just wanted to be near her success. Clara got scared again, scared she might lose herself. She started spending more time in a small courtyard behind the center. It was quiet and peaceful, with a few plants. It helped her remember who she really was. Keanu visited often. He came quietly, with 2 coffees and calm energy. One cold evening, they sat together on a bench. Their breaths made little clouds in the air. You look tired, Keanu said. Clara gave a small laugh. I'm not tired, she said. I'm heavy. Keanu nodded. When you carry other people's hopes, it changes you. She looked up at the stars. I'm scared, she whispered. Scared I'll mess everything up. Keanu was quiet for a moment. Then he said, being scared doesn't mean you're weak. It means you care. And caring is the bravest thing you can do. His words sank deep into her heart. Clara realized fear wasn't her enemy. It just meant something mattered to her. In the next weeks, she made some changes. She said no to news stories that didn't feel right. She only said yes to speeches that matched her values. She let others help lead the center. She learned how to say no kindly, because saying no sometimes is part of caring too. The community center did even better. New programs started, classes for young people, help for workers, support for lonely elders. The walls were full of art and joy. Clara helped young women who reminded her of her younger self. She taught them how to handle the world and how to believe in themselves. When the world tried to make her disappear, Clara didn't let it. Even when she won, life was still tricky, messy, and real. One rainy afternoon, as she was closing the community center, Clara saw a small envelope under her office door. Inside was a blurry photo. It showed her and Keanu sitting in the courtyard. There was no name, no message, just the photo. Someone had taken it without them knowing. Clara felt a cold shiver. Fame, even if it came from someone else, could be dangerous. That evening, she met Keanu at their usual place. The rain was soft, and the city looked like a painting. She showed him the photo without saying anything. He looked at it and then looked at her. Are you scared? He asked. Clara thought about everything. How she had worked so hard to get her life back, how she helped others every day, and how she promised herself to keep going even when life was hard. No, she finally said. Keanu smiled. In his smile, she saw her own strength. You've built something bigger than fear, he said. You've become a lighthouse. Clara laughed, tired but amazed. "I was just trying to survive," she said. "And in surviving," Keanu replied, "you showed others how to live." The rain kept falling, washing the city. In a quiet corner of Los Angeles, two people sat together. One who stayed kind even when life was hard, and one who refused to be forgotten. The road ahead was still long. Bad things might happen. But Clara wasn't a ghost anymore. She was strong. And deep inside, she knew she didn't just get her life back. She made it into something more than she ever dreamed. Winter came to Los Angeles, colder than usual. The days at the community center got longer and harder. The center was doing great, but success brought new problems. Clara knew that people who build good things are sometimes hurt by others. And then, like many bad things, the trouble came when no one expected it. A small mistake in paperwork caused a big check from the city. At first, it was just a normal check. But soon, people started whispering. Some old staff members who were jealous began saying bad things. They lied and said Clara was using the center to make herself famous. Clara sat at her desk late into the night. Papers were everywhere. She knew they hadn't done anything wrong. Every dollar was used to help people. Every choice she made was with care. But she also knew this. Once people start to doubt, it's hard to stop. The news that once said nice things about her now looked for something bad. News vans waited outside the center. Some people got scared and stopped coming. Some volunteers didn't come back. Even the board, the people who once supported her, started to step away. And Clara stood in the middle of it all. She felt shame and pain from old wounds. She answered questions. She worked with lawyers. She followed the rules. But inside her small, warm apartment, she started to wonder if maybe she wasn't meant to lead anything. Maybe she was only good at surviving. One night, sitting alone, her phone buzzed. A message from Keanu, "Courtyard now." She found him waiting behind the center, 2 coffees in hand, even though it was cold. His face, lit by streetlights, was calm. He gave her coffee and sat beside her without speaking. They sat in silence for a long time. "I'm losing everything," she finally said. Keanu took a sip before answering. "No," he said. "You're being tested." "That's different." Clara laughed, but it was a sad, rough laugh. "I'm not strong enough," she said. Keanu looked right at her. "Being strong doesn't mean never breaking," he said. "It means not staying broken." He leaned forward. "Clara, you are not what they say. You are what you've done. You showed up every day when it was easier to give up. You gave people hope. They can talk badly about you, but they can't erase the truth. Not unless you let them." Tears came to Clara's eyes. Not because she was giving up, but because a small fire was coming back inside her. "What do I do?" she asked. Keanu smiled, proud. "You fight," he said. "You tell the truth louder than the lies." And that's what she did. The next morning, Clara called a press meeting. Not in a fancy place, but outside the community center. She wore a simple jacket with her Tesla shirt underneath. She told her real story, the mistakes, the hard times, the hope. She showed the papers, the emails, the truth. She didn't hide. She wanted to be clear. And people listened. Not just the news people, but the ones she helped. The volunteers, the people she had never given up on. They came. They stood behind her. One by one, they made a wall of love around her. The news couldn't ignore it. Slowly, then quickly, things changed. The city found no big problems, only small mistakes. Donors came back. Volunteers returned. The news started telling the truth again. Clara didn't hide to survive. She stood tall. She showed her scars and her heart. And Keanu? He was always there. Not to lead or be famous, but to stand beside her. He was her quiet friend, the one who never left her alone in the dark. Clara now knew that real leaders don't need to be perfect. They just need to keep going. To tell their story, even when it's hard. To carry the light when the world tries to make it go out. Because of that, Clara was not just someone who survived. She became a light for others, people who had been told they didn't matter. And now, people knew she did matter. Spring came early. The city felt warm and soft. Flowers bloomed. The sky looked blue again. For Clara, it wasn't just the weather changing. It was her, too. The center grew. More programs started. Other places asked her to help. Not because she begged for money, but because people saw she was real. She worked hard to lift up people, one at a time. That was enough. One day, she sat on the steps, sipping coffee, listening to kids play. It sounded like hope. Keanu came with 2 fresh cups. She smiled and took one. "You know," she said, looking at the happy kids, "I used to think the worst thing was losing everything I worked for." Keanu waited. "But it wasn't," she said. "The real worst thing would have been thinking that losing stuff meant I lost myself." Keanu smiled with his kind eyes. "You didn't lose yourself," he said. "You found what really matters." They sat in silence. The sun warmed their faces. The children laughed. Clara once thought healing would be big and fast. But now she knew, healing is quiet. It happens in small, special moments. Then something new happened. A fancy letter came. She was picked for a big award, the National Humanitarian Award. It was a huge honor, given to people who helped others in amazing ways. She never asked for it. Never thought she would get anything like that. But it came. The event was in Washington, D.C. Super fancy. Important people from all over the world came. When she told Keanu, she thought he might say it didn't matter. But he just smiled and said, "You deserve it." She wore a simple navy dress. Her Tesla shirt stayed in her bag, her special good luck charm. Keanu came too, not as her special guest, but just as her friend. When her name was called, she walked to the stage. People stood and clapped. But she didn't think about winning. She thought about the nights she slept outside, the times she almost gave up, the small kindnesses that helped her heal. "I'm here today," she said, her voice strong, "not because I'm a big success. I'm here because someone saw me when I was at my lowest." "I didn't need to be saved," she said. "I needed someone to believe my story wasn't over." She paused. "I was lucky. Someone gave me that gift. And because of that, I came back. But many others are still waiting to be seen." She looked out at everyone. Kindness isn't big. It's not just for awards. It's the small, everyday choice to let people know they matter. Tears filled her eyes, but she didn't cry. "See them," she said. "See them, and you will change the world." When she came off the stage, Keanu was there. He didn't say anything. He just hugged her tight. That said everything. That night, walking back under the stars, Clara felt peace. Not the kind that goes away quickly, but the kind that stays deep in your heart. "I couldn't have done it without you," she said. Keanu laughed softly. "You did the hard work. I just reminded you who you are." Clara smiled and bumped his shoulder. "Thanks for staying beside me when others didn't." Keanu looked at her, kind and serious. "Always," he said. And as they walked together down the quiet street, it was clear their story wasn't about saving or owing. It was about friendship. Real and strong. Born not from winning, but from believing in each other. In the end, Clara's greatest gift wasn't the award or the center or even the lives she helped, though there were many. Her true gift was the light she passed on. A light that said, "You are not invisible. You are not forgotten. You are still becoming. And somewhere, someone else, standing on the edge, would see that light and take one small step back toward life. Because one woman refused to give up. Because one man never let her feel alone. Because sometimes, the best way to change the world is to sit beside someone and say, I see you. And you still matter. If you liked this story, tell me in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe for more fun adventures and mysteries. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.